All right, good morning, cyber traders. Welcome on back here this Wednesday, although it seems like a Thursday, of course, with Good Friday this week. Markets are closed, but great to see all of our students and members alike again this Wednesday, March 17th. Of course, you could tell by the lack of webcam, this is not Fausto. You got Josh on, at least for the morning meeting. I think at least going into tomorrow as well. But with that said, great to see Jacqueline, great to see our new trial member joining us here, among others, but great to see Manuel, Margaret, Leda, Alex, Sam, and all of our students and members just joining us here. So, hey, joining Jacqueline, I know that we have Scott just joining us here as a new trial member. We have Adrian, a few more just from earlier this week. So really quick, just if you're a new student, new trial member at that inside our live trading room, welcome aboard. This could be, pretty fast paced at times, and you might kind of feel like a little lost in the clouds a little bit, like, oh, how is this all working here? Well, first and foremost, your education advisor is basically the middleman or middle woman, basically between you and Fausto, you and myself, and they'll have the time to talk to you on the phone, go over at least how the trading room works from a trial perspective, and really showing you where all the recordings are on our website. But then from there, once you join us as a student, Susie, Margaret, Grant, Phil, Alex, Leda, among others, of course, Alan. We have the classes actually resuming today. The Phase 1 stock course lined up actually at 10:35 this morning, continuing actually for the month of March. So that's where we're actually going to go a lot further into volume. We talked about charts last month, talking about just setting up your charts, trend is your friend, following support resistance. Fairly straightforward material, even if you're a new student, because, if you have like 2, 3, 4 years even of stock market experience, you know how the charts work. You know how the stock goes from left to right on the screen, and you're looking for the stock to go up or you're looking for it to go down, right? So, that's what we taught last month, and we went over it in full. But now we've been going into the volume. We've dug into level 2, the market depth, going over bid and ask, and now we're digging a lot further into the ECN book, level 3, and time and sales, and even level 4, the heat map. So with that, we have that coming up at 10:35 this morning. So look forward to teaching that class for you all. And, actually later on today, we'll finish up at 3 p.m. That's our afternoon time slot. All right, but without further ado, IBIO, this has been on a huge move this morning. It ended up completing a gap fill actually on the daily chart. You could see this big gap dating back to the end of last year. So I think that was exactly right around 265, 270, like pretty much right there. Low at this point was 263. Maybe you look at the open price here, 280, and that's the low. So kind of like 265, 280-ish, right? Yeah, look what's happening here. So 265 now, 280-ish from earlier. Completed a really good gap, right? We normally don't see a gap get filled so steady, perfect like that on the intraday basis. Maybe it takes a few days, maybe it takes a number of weeks. But you know what? I'm going to put this on our watch list to begin. And for the curious minds, actually, I'll just get the news out here in a second. I ordered new notepads. I actually have it in my mailbox. Amazon Prime, ordered it overnight. Got to get them. But actually wrote this down on my phone, doing the notepad on my phone. Now, let's actually take a look here on IBIO. $15 million equity financing, shares set at $2.85 each. That's the news out on it. Just a $15 million private placement for, then maybe this on top. Okay, so there's a little extra on top. There we go. All right. So IBIO and Astral Bio announced transformative AI drug discovery collaboration to rapidly develop novel antibodies and for obesity and cardiometabolic diseases. All right, so obesity has been the hot topic of late, right? So whether it's, just any of the drugs coming out or even IBIO. I say even IBIO because this stock has been more of like a antibody and vaccine company in the past. It was one of the early COVID stocks. One of my students, Alex, was mentioning that to me. He remembers it from COVID time. Yep, ended up making a big push back then. Now, it didn't top off at like 3,500 here. This was based off like further reverse stock splits that happened over time. So after the dump back down, this company ended up doing one or even two different reverse stock splits, and it kind of inflates the price that you see there on the daily chart. But you could just see the enormity of the move that we had back then, from back in March of 2020 to beginning of 21. So that could happen again. It's already up 125, 130% yearly, and perhaps it can keep going, but what happens for any stock, let alone this even, just once the volume begins to peak, then drop back down once the foot's taken off the gas pedal, right? So for this trade, definitely going to put it on our watch list. Looks really strong for now, and we'll hope it continues. Let's see if we could just kind of dig through this list, because I do want to get to DJT. DJT from yesterday, that was the hot one from yesterday, and alongside a couple others. But we'll go down this gainers list here, though, just for the meantime. And wow, making another big push. So the LIXT, we were looking for this to make this type of run just earlier, and it ended up eventually breaking lower. It broke below 320-ish, 317. I ended up finding to be that support. So you could see that happening here. Unfortunately, right place, wrong time for myself. And then just now, this thing just blasted right through. Actually, prior to 9 o'clock, did it make that move? But yeah, LIXT, just either way, I'm going to add with the IBIO. Whatever the news is out on this company, just either way, for it to be up 63%, this is where I'll show a little ignorance, if you don't mind, really, because at the end of the day, it's like cool to know the news. If we have the time, we'll go through the news. If we're not in trades, we'll go through the news. I do have to go through the rest of the gainers list. This is a bit of a quicker show, so we'll try and dip in and out of news here and there. But just to say, we don't need to know the news in order to follow the stock. It's a lot more important to know where the iceberg orders are, and at least here, right? Hey, does a stock move exactly the way that you want it to every minute of every day? No, you're going to be there at the right place at the wrong time quite often. So here, I was looking for this support build. I had a good bounce, but then it came back down. So that's where you got to say, all right, just move on to a different trade. This might just, completely dump back down, fill the gap downward even here. Well, ended up holding at 3 or a little under, and then moved back up. Right place, right time here. You could see it held under this price as resistance next, and then bam. When a stock breaks through a big level, makes a big move shortly after, that's the exact type of move that you want it to see. So yeah, LIXT, just going to put on our list now. All right, so DJT. Now let's talk about a couple stocks from yesterday at least, right? So DJT moving back up. It's hard for me to not put this on our watch list going into the open today. It was making that big bounce going into the pre-market hours yesterday morning, and it was looking pretty strong, right? Popped pretty nicely, but then it just coiled up, got messy, and then we were looking for support to build off that 70.55 price, which I'll replot on this chart right there. So same thing happens here as it happened actually on that LIXT, as far as, right place, wrong time maybe, and, ended up beginning to chop lower. And then heading into the afternoon, it tried to make that better push. But I guess even here, at this point, I was actually in some doctor's appointments beginning from like 2 o'clock. Rich did the meeting, so he was going over this for all of us inside our live trading room. But I guess this ended up failing to run higher. Held support well, moved up. Then I guess some news came out on top, right? It looks like this is a news-based spike. So let me actually, just for that, dive back into the Benzinga Pro. All right, so from yesterday, 2:30. Let's see, that spike, was that at 2:30? Yeah, pretty much right there. 2:38, 2:36, the time that was. So let's just take a look here. What do we got? Exclusive Trump media company goes public. Financial experts say DJT is a meme stock. Is that all it was? Is that all that headline was for 236? Are you kidding me? That's the exclusive, that financial experts say that DJT is a meme stock. That's all you got? Jesus. All right. So you would think that that could even lead to a good reaction, because that could lead to more retailers being like, oh, that's right. Oh my God, sorry, I can't believe I forgot. And then they try and pump it up even more. Hey, that happens. But Geez, that led to quite a negative move there. If that's all it was right there, I guess a little extra blurb here, big headline or big article here. But all right, well, either way, it is back up, and look what just became resistance live. Ha! Can't make this stuff up, folks. You can only follow it. How about that? So DJT, I'm going to put this on our watch list. Just again, just be careful of the enormous spread, and just given how the price, you're not going to be able to trade a lot of shares anyway. So, just even the options, I'm sure, are very illiquid at that. Just be careful on that on this one. Oh, really quick, before we continue to go through the gainers list, actually, a couple stocks from yesterday I do want to just touch on. I don't know if we're going to find them like up or down big, like Rumble here. Rumble, this made the type of move you wanted to see DJT make, and this could also be a meme stock. Rumble, video platform altogether, competes with YouTube now, big social media thing nowadays, and a lot of the younger generation getting on Rumble and some companies too. So led to a nice pop at the open, but then just continued all throughout the day. And the interesting part about this stock, if I still have it up, all right, for all of our students here, a little pop quiz. We're going to do this a lot more in class this afternoon, actually. We're going to do all book map, all level 4 in our class this afternoon, 3 o'clock Eastern time. But let me ask Michael, Margaret, Leonard, where do we see like a dark orange line on this screen going towards the top part of the page, towards the top? What price? What do we got there? What do we got? 9, right? It says Wayne, Leonard, Phil, all of our students, right? Larry, Margaret. All right, cool. Different question now. Where do you see a dark orange line? Where do you see a dark orange line? What do we got now? Yep. All right, so this thing has been out here for, and I swear to you, I said this yesterday in Traders Talk, I think, or in the just throughout the day. This thing had to have been out here for like 2 months now. I've been following this Rumble trade with you all for a little while, and on and off, mind you. It's not every day we're studying this, putting this under a microscope, but I remember this type of liquidity out there at 10, and not even at 10. This is the funky part. It's like $9.95 and $10, right? You got a total of about like 600,000+ shares sitting out there between the two prices. So if you're trying to follow the big money and know where the big money is, well, you trust the whole numbers like $9, on a more local level, more local scale. But yeah, definitely 10 is your larger target to work with here. So, at least for now, it's hard for me to put this on the list because it is as flat could be. It's not up or down anything really. So it's going to remain on our side list, but we love Rumble and we'll likely call it out if it starts moving again, right? But that's where I'll tell you, there's better trades to focus on here. What we'll do is go from top to bottom now. It's actually already 9:12 Eastern. Want to make sure we have all enough time to, kind of prep up for the market open. And I'll tell you, stocks like NVCR, they do have very thin books, like a ghost order book here. There wasn't much volume out there going into the 8 o'clock move. And much like DJT, it was hard for me to not put this on our list because it was looking so nice on the chart. But when the order book is so blank and so thin, it's very tough to expect to see support hold, right? If there's no iceberg, no big money to even think of as support, then what happens when it starts pulling back? What happens? So, at this point now, am I so jumpy to trade this stock? Not really. If it starts moving again after the open, I'm probably not going to call it out at first. Probably going to be better stocks that are moving, right? Oh, hold up. Time out. Didn't put this on the watch list, but I didn't even see this up until now. What the hell? GCTS? Semiconductor holding? Yeah. All right. Up and down. That's what we're trying to avoid. Right. And that's where we say like early in the morning, like 4 in the morning, 5 in the morning, there is not really like you'll see moves out there, right? You could make money, but there's not really big money out there. Like it's kind of pointless to be out there if you're going to like commit a lot further to what we teach you in class. Stock like Pays even, going into the 8 o'clock move, I thought this could have been all right, but then it ended up just continuing that little trot down, obviously slammed lower. But look at the order book. It's starting to fill in a little bit, a little thin, but spread's pretty tight. It's trending back up. Hopefully it fills in more after 9:30. But yeah, I'm going to put this pays trade back on our list. Chris, one of our longtime students here, and definitely one of our successful students in our chat board, he says CLSK moving up to 24 resistance. Take a look at that and all the other sideless stocks in just a second there. And hey, much like we say with like DJT, my stance on DJT. Yeah, my stance on CLSK. I will bite on CLSK more days than not if it's looking good. So I will definitely get to that. SMR up 11%, moving up pretty nice though here. Hey, this stock has been through a roller coaster, right? The last 2 weeks, the last 3 weeks, even up and down. I'm going to kind of skip over this for the time being. This is where I'd even kind of prioritize a CLSK over that if it's looking good. I know the CLSK is looking a lot more liquid. And, there's a couple other trades I do want to get to, even from yesterday. The DNUT trade, a couple other stocks I have on my side list here. Actually, a little pause right now for Robinhood. Robinhood, hey, let me actually jump back to Benzinga because we know Robinhood is actually a Bitcoin stock. They own a lot of Bitcoin, basically. So, if you don't really know that, just kind of look it up yourself. You'll be surprised with how much Bitcoin this company actually owns. So, trading higher after the company's keynote event, an announcement of the company's gold card. Sounds attractive. I may need to sign up for a gold card. That's the type of marketing that can catch my eyes. But no, it's saying that at least Hood definitely going to put on our watch list, moving back up at least for now. And again, a pretty liquid trade. We like Robinhood. It typically will fill in when the market opens up. All right, I got the H's here. Hoth, Hood, H kit. That is not really intentional. I don't think it to be. Let me see if there's anything else. Just doing a last quick scan around here. CCL up 4%. Whoa, right now, big old pop. All right, is this earnings? The hell's going on here? Is CCL buying Bitcoin right now? I'm joking when I say that, obviously. This Carnival reports first quarter revenues and all-time record booking levels. Big old article to boot afterwards here, so look it up at your discretion. But that just came out at 9:15 right now. You know what? That's so weird. These companies, they don't do it too often. But for certain companies that come out with earnings at like 9 o'clock or even this, like 9:15, I actually don't like that. Throws a wrench in in your plans otherwise. Thankfully for today, I didn't really have like a main horse in my race going into this meeting. So that's where I could at least consider CCL a lot more. But definitely gonna put this on our list now. All right, so here we go. We got the crypto stocks. We got Wolf. We got Irene. Want to jump to those first, but then the CLSK. Oh yeah, this thing's running up pretty nicely, Chris. Good call, and I figured it was going to be. I was going to get to it anyway. But CLSK, obviously, at this point, it's not even up 5%, but with how it's trending, that's the type of move that we want to see. So, we're going to add CLSK now to our list. All right, so I'll tell you, we already got a good one already, right? We got a few decent like level 1 or 2, 3 stocks at that. And we got the crazies out there if you want to kind of gamble in small shares. But otherwise, let's hop over to the loser side here, see if there's anything looking just on the way down as a good short. WETH. I didn't know if that was like an Ethereum short ETF or something like that. I don't know. Meso. GameStop. All right, Dominic said GameStop reported huge iceberg stacked around $12. Well, it had such a big pop last 2 days. It pulled back a bit overnight. I don't know if there's any news on top, but if there is any news, it's bad news at that to be down 15%. If there's no news, then I'm still not as interested just yet on it, even with it slightly trending a little bit back up here. It's slightly recovering, but it already fell off so much off the close from yesterday. So I'm going to pass on it for right now. And there we go. The guy Rich to back me up here. GameStop worse than expected quarter four. All right. So yeah, we're not going to follow GameStop then, really. And to be transparent with you, not much else on the loser side looking really too good. ALT, I guess, moving back up a little bit here, but not down nearly enough for me to kind of envision dead cat bounce, looking for that squeeze back up. You're getting it here on the chart, but, for me to look for a dead cat bounce, I want to see a stock down 20, 30%, if not more. All right, Richard, Luis, Leonard, Brian, Leda, all of our students right now in chat. Definitely let me know if there's anything else you'd want me to look at here. I'll take a look at my scanners. I got a big water delivery outside my home door, so I'm gonna get that. Make sure I'm good to go for this meeting coming up, the audio broadcast coming up, and also class. Got a long day on the stick, but otherwise, let me know if there's any other stocks that you'd want me to look at here before we wrap up. I guess I'd said I'd go back to NVCR. Did I say I'd go back to NVCR? There's like one that I said I'd go back to, right? Jump back to the gainers list. Maybe it was NVCR. This thing is just still trending down a little bit. I guess, tiny bounce, but or maybe it was the SMR trade. Maybe it was SMR. My dyslexia kicking in. Yeah, I think it was SMR. I don't have this written down on my notepad. Uh, it doesn't hurt us to add this at this point. We don't have a huge watch list now, so I'll add this SMR. Why not? For all of us on YouTube, Facebook Live, LinkedIn, etc., and especially YouTube, just be sure to follow us on YouTube, namely that being at CyberTradingU. Oh, that is not what I'm looking to post right there. That is the watch list from the pre-market this morning. Right there at CyberTradingU on the lower left. If you're not followed or subscribed yet to our YouTube channel or any of our social media streams, at least at CyberTradingU, but on YouTube at least, that is where we host all of our main videos. That's kind of our central hub for our main videos that we provide for free. Now, if you're interested in joining us inside our live trading room, just scan that QR code on the top left there. If you're fancy with your phone, fancy with your camera right there, just kind of scan it. You'll be good to go for a week-long trial inside our live trading room. And then we look forward to having you there. But last call again for all of us inside our trading room right now. Kathleen, Brad, Grant, Luis. Bitcoin up 1,000 in 5 minutes. Let me actually just from my phone. I'm not going to be able to show you this really quick. I'm not as prepped up. Bitcoin 71.2. Yeah, I'll tell you what. I think that we just continue to break all-time highs just over the next week. 75, 76,000 I'd look for as like a target. Focus on $5,000 price levels there, like 65, 70, 75, 80. So at this point now, if I'm expecting a new all-time high, like coming up in the next few days or weeks, 75, 76, maybe a little bit higher. Look for that to be my target there coming up. Then much higher long term. But let's just take a look at just some of the other crypto stocks while I'm at it. Like we said before, Wolf, BTBT, Canon, none of those are looking good. Mara's looking all right, but we got CLSK for that. I think CLSK is like even more liquid even. Coinbase, obviously I could add Coinbase to our list as far as like, a crypto stock otherwise, obviously more expensive, but that's been more of a swing trade for Fausto of late, if anything. So that's a little bit different. So I could add that towards, the bottom of our list. I think that's just about it, folks, right? Crypto that I am a fan of, just mentioning it right now out loud, typing it in chat to everyone here at your discretion. Just saying. I've been mentioning this for the last like 2 weeks just to, anyone that I've been coaching one-on-one, if they've been kind of asking me like, oh, what are you interested in? SUI is a cheap crypto that, it's like basically breaking all-time highs right now. I've been a big fan of it. I mentioned it to like Rich the other week at like 150, 140. So it's at like 210 right now, 211 or so. Doing pretty good. But otherwise, folks, let me know if there's anything else. I think that we're going to wrap up here. We got like 4 or 5 minutes before the open. So I normally don't run this long. So, hey, let me just make sure that we're all good to go going into the open, folks. So with that, I'll talk to everybody soon. Take care.